Hi everyone, Vis2k back again with Vis2k talking about uSurvival in this live dev interview that was taken from my live Twitch stream or the w.twitch.tv/themessycoder. You can catch me every Saturdays talking to developers like Vis2k and helping you get started with their fantastic assets and learning a thing or two about what it's like to be a game dev, asset dev or publisher. Sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you all in a moment. Okay, I'm in, loaded up.
Okay, you can just press play and select the cloud server again, and then you can play.
Chat's disgraced with me. That they're like, how does he not know what a MOBA is?
How? Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. Character creation. Messy. What's a Voland? I can only be a Voland.
The character is actually from a Unity asset, and they called him Voland. So yeah, here we go.
All right. Okay, we're in.
Yeah, so that's a survival game. I don't know if you played a game like DayZ or Fortnite or similar, where basically you spawn here and you just try to survive. It's really fun, actually. That's also part of the reason why I did this, because I guess one of my favorite games from the last 5 years or whatever was DayZ, because I don't know, I guess there's something in humans that just wants to try to survive, you know. It's kind of cool. You can, well, actually let me give you a weapon here.
I want to eat that banana.
It's on the floor now. Below you there's a weapon. And you can also zoom in and zoom out with the scroll wheel.
Oh, my head's missing in the inventory when I'm in.
Yeah, it's in first person. I still have to fix this.
Oh, I didn't discover this. Damn it.
That's
okay.
Fine. You can on the bottom inventory slot, you just drag the gun onto, yes, exactly. Okay. And then press tab again. To load it, you just press the R key in game. And then you can shoot. Ideally the zombies.
Oh.
So if you run outside here, then you can see some zombies. Oh,
is this running on your home network?
It's running on Google Cloud, actually.
Okay. I'm getting a little bit of lag though as I'm shooting stuff.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's because of OBS running as well. I noticed there was a spike. Hang on, let me get my. I'm not sure if I think it's my. Yeah, here we go. That spike there.
Oh yeah, I mean, sure, it's still not perfectly optimized.
I think it might be. Don't forget that OBS eats up about 80% of my CPU.
What's OBS?
The streaming software that I've got going on at the moment.
Okay.
So how much of this is... Oh, I died while I was paused. Lovely.
Yeah. Damn zombies.
Damn zombies. How much of this is taking advantage of the graphics for like GPU?
What do you mean?
All that.
Oh, it's just the default Unity stuff, like rendering. I haven't really done much graphics special stuff here. Mostly just networking, you know, trying to get it easy to use, so simple.
Trying to get away. I need some health.
If you press the tab key, you have a lot of health potions in your inventory.
Now, can they climb ladders?
No, they can't, but you can.
Alright, I've got my medipack on.
Good. Yeah, you can also swim. I can show you if you follow me. I don't actually know where we are. I think there are some of our Discord friends here on the server too today. So, shout out.
I managed to jump.
You are swimming.
Yeah, I jumped from the roof into the water.
Okay. Yeah, the water is good for you too. It's not radioactive or anything.
I was going to say, it's a bit green.
Yeah, it's meant to be survival, you know.
Now, the clipping, there's different methods of how people can do... Oh, I got killed through them. So, you can always use like 2 cameras, so you avoid the clipping, which you get people telling you that you get bad performance if you're doing that, or you'll have other issues. But how would you recommend to get around the camera clipping issue?
What exactly do you mean?
So
that you can you show me in your stream? Or?
Yeah. Let me get back here. Thank you for the follow, buddy. How do I get back into that? Let me climb up.
Oh, by the way, I just killed the person that found the X, so I'm gonna give it to you now. I don't just need to know which one you are.
Oh, which Warland I am. I'm gonna go. Hang on, I'm here, jumping up in the air.
Oh yeah, okay. 1 second.
It looks like you're about to give me the axe with the pointy end first.
Best weapon in game, man.
Is it?
Yeah, it's very strong, and you don't need ammunition. So.
Oh,
also, it's just cool.
Alright, where's the...
the zombies are outside the compound, so if you destroy the pallets that I built here on the entrance, then you can go outside.
I want to... Where's the ladder gone? There used to be a...
It's behind the big building.
Hang on. Where did that...
it's behind you, actually.
There it is.
Near the yellow crane. Yeah, exactly.
Now, if I jump over here and go down here, can you see?
You're in the pool, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean this?
So
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good point.
So that's actually how I died. I died because I was through here and they attacked me.
Oh, okay. Sounds like I have to fix this one.
So there's you could do that. It's the age-old argument of how you stop those kind of clipping issues.
Yeah, I guess it's...
Some people saying you use 2 cameras. Other ones saying put colliders on.
Yeah, we just probably have to use a bigger collider for swimming. I will do this in the future. So
Mr. Squarepeg saying, what transport layer is this using by default?
That's a good question. Yeah, so by the way, uMMORPG can use a lot of different transports. For example, you can use UDP and you can use TCP and you can use UNets or LLA PI. And this uses telepathy at the moment, which is my TCP transport layer. Mostly because, after those 3 years of UNet, I was just getting tired of UDP and losing packets and worrying about UDP. And I don't know if people actually know this, but if you use TCP, you basically never lose any packets. So once you just started, you never have to worry about it. I mean, the downside is that you have slightly more latency, but I just want to release my game. I don't want to worry about networking. Just gotta work.
So why I don't understand is, and I don't take this the wrong way. I mean, take it as a compliment, but you don't know about networking, as your job. You're not trained networking guy. You've taught yourself and had to learn by seeing what Unity have done badly and fixing it.
I mean, it was mostly, I woke up and decided to make my MMO and just, one step after another, learn whatever it takes.
But Unity have got a team of people who made UNet.
Yeah.
So why can't they see these problems themselves and fix it? I
mean, I'm pretty sure they see them because a lot of people are complaining on the forums. And, why can't they fix it? I don't know. I mean, to be fair, networking is very difficult, and
I'm not. Yeah, really exactly. And 100%, it is very difficult. But you did it, and as I say, it's not there. It's a strange compliment saying you managed to do it. You didn't really know what you were doing at the start, and you taught yourself how to do it. Is the Unity volume still too loud? Yet Unity, who made it themselves, still can't do it. So when I said networking genius or God, this is where the reputation is coming from. Where this person in his bedroom, now we know he's in Germany, has done what Unity didn't do with their own code.
Well, I mean, first of all, it wasn't just me. To be fair, we have couple of people in our uMMORPG Discord who are helping, and some of them are really experienced network engineers, and that's really cool. But okay, so here's what I thought. Okay, it seems like Unity is very interested in UDP, which is really great for low latency, but the cost of this is that you have packet loss and you have to worry about basically everything. And I thought, I don't really want to worry about this, so I use TCP. And people complain about this a lot because of higher latency and whatever. But I thought, okay, is there any popular game that uses TCP? Can it work or not? And actually, yes, there's. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's called Minecraft. And I thought, well, what works for them was probably good enough for me, because obviously this was a huge success. And yeah, sure, the networking in Minecraft isn't perfect, and you have high latency, and sometimes it lags a lot. But man, they release the game, and people play it, and people get married to this game, and small kids learn how to do electronics, and it's just fantastic, So I just thought I just want to release, just gotta work somehow.
But does that mean that for something like your DayZ type game, that you're going to have issues when it comes to shooting against someone in a one-to-one kind of face-off?
Well, at the bottom right of your screen, you can see your latency. So for me, it's like 40 milliseconds right now.
Okay.
And if you were to use UDP, we would probably have, I don't know, like 20 or 30. It would be less. But at the same time, when I still used to play games, when I used to play Counter-Strike like 10 years ago, the latency was like 80 milliseconds or 100. So even with TCP now, we have half of that. And for me, it's totally enough. And yeah, if you want to make the next big esports hit, like the next Counter-Strike or whatever, then you should definitely use UDP and have perfect low latency. But I think it's definitely not stupid for the lone wolf developer to use TCP and just not worry about it. Anyway, you can still swap it out easily if you want. But I think it's the highest priority should be to actually release your game. That's the hard part. Get it out there, let people play it, and if you have some too high latency, you can still switch it out. But that's way better than spending 5 years on your networking and never releasing, because it just sucks, man.
Now, you said you've got people who've made add-ons so that you can have multiple scenes with your uSurvival. Where do we get the link? Wait, is it on your Discord or on the website for this massive amount of add-ons that you've got?
That was mostly for uMMORPG, yeah. And actually, that was that was my add-on for multiple scenes, but it's free, and people can use it. They can find it in my Discord. For uSurvival, there's no multiple scene add-on, but I don't think we need it really, because games like DayZ and Fortnite don't really have this either. So I think for survival games, one scene is probably enough.
Mr. Squarepeg's asking, what VR titles are using Mirror?
Oh, it's on our showcase if you go to mirrornetworking.com. And it's called, oh man, that's embarrassing. I think it's called it's called Population One. It's from Big Box VR. It's an American company, I think, and they are getting pretty serious about it. And it's kind of crazy to see that they would trust us with the networking. It's really, and you can actually take a look at the trailer. It looks really cool. It's on the very top of the showcase there.
Population One.
Yeah.
Here it is. Well, this looks cool. This is Unity.
Yeah, Unity and Mirror. It's kind of crazy for all of us in the Mirror team that these guys would trust us with their networking. It's mind-blowing, and we try to live up to it,
Well, if it's good enough for you to be making your own game with, then it should be good enough for anyone to be making a game with, because you should be your worst customer.
Yeah, sure, but they are probably having a really big company and stuff to lose. I don't, I don't care if I fail. They probably do.
Well, you should care a little bit if you fail.
Yeah, sure. I don't want to, but I'm not gonna die or whatever,
What they've got one here, Samu Tail.
Oh yeah, that's actually.
Is that made with
I think it uses
uMMORPG?
Yeah, I think it does. Or Either survival or MMORPG. I think one of the two.
That was going to
Unless
ask
I'm
about...
mistaken. I mean, if it doesn't, then I'm sorry. I might have forgotten, but I think it does.
The thing about the camera on... That's cool for on the chicken. On uMMORPG.
Yeah, looks nice.
There's nothing that says that you have to use that camera or that controller for uMMORPG, is there?
Well, actually, at the moment, I recommend to use it because it's a cheat save, you know. For example, to be honest, in uSurvival, right now, you could cheat if you... I mean, maybe I shouldn't say how, but I mean, okay, actually, why not? If you use a speed hack and you send the server the movement positions too quickly, then you can still cheat. But currently, I mean, the main focus was to just get it smooth. That the movement feels good and that it's synchronized to other players really good. And then the next, it's actually called rubber banding, where you allow the player to move, and if he try to cheat, you send him back. And the rubber part, the sending him back part, is what's gonna come in, I guess, this month or next month. And yeah, after that, we can use this for the MMO too. But you know, the sort of it being that if you cheat in an MMORPG and you can destroy the economy, then you can pretty much close your game server. But if you cheat in a survival game, it's just, well, you cheat and you're a bad player and this sucks, but you can still continue to run your game, you know, it's not that critical. But yeah, long story short, I guess in 1 or 2 months it should be perfectly cheat safe, the movement here.
Oh, nice. Now, how do we... Oh, who's this bloke on the roof with me? Hello.
Oh, that's me.
Hello. Oh, hey. If we wanted to change things like the inventory system, the loot system, is that a massive undertaking for this, or?
Oh, I hope not. Actually, in uSurvival it should be a lot easier because if you take a look at the scripts folder, it's mostly components. So, for example, in uMMORPG, you have one big player class, which makes perfect sense for the... Well, it makes perfect sense for uMMORPG. But for this here, where you don't have targets, you can actually use components. So, for example, if you want to modify your inventory, you just open player inventory script and modify it. So it's... I mean, I guess it's doable. You just need to know a little bit about Mirror and how to use it. But yeah, sure.
So if you've made a game using Unit in the past, let me just go into the code. So if you've made a game using Unit in the past, then you should be able to quite easily use Mirror.
Yeah, it's... I mean, it's not 100% easy, but mostly what you do at the top of the file, where you have using Unity Engine.networking, you just change it to using Mirror, and then you're like 90% done. We also, I mean, you know, we removed some stuff that didn't make sense in our opinion, and removed some broken stuff. So yeah, you have to do a couple of things, but I think you can do it in a day or less. And by the way, we also have a converter script that does it automatically, at least try it. So I mean, it's doable, yeah. It's basically Unit just with a lot of fixes and stability, so.
Oh, nice. Yeah, here we go. I'm just looking at the player inventory script. So we've got using Unity Engine, using Mirror, and then you go system. Oh, you got Link in there. I got told off for using that in the past.
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with that emotion. And I mean, it depends on how you use it. You know, if you use it in the hot pass, so which is like updates, then you have to be really careful because it can generate... Well, it can pretty much slow down the game. But if it's just like, I don't know, the login button or whatever, who cares? You know, if it makes your code easier, just do it.
I was going to ask you. You lead so nicely to my next question, which is, how do you handle us having to support different types of customers now that are using either uMMORPG, uMOBA, or uSurvival, and now uRPG, where you're one guy and supporting all these different assets?
Yeah, I think the most important part is to keep the code really simple and really clean. Not just, you know, for my own game, but also that people can... Well, first of all, that people don't have many bugs, because... Which is, by the way, something that people sometimes criticize with Unity, because they have a giant QA team and they have to deal with thousands of bugs. But, you know, the less bugs you have, the less of a QA team you need. So in my case, I try to... Well, at least I try to keep it as bug-free as possible and try to fix them before I add any new features. And this reduces a giant support load when people don't bother you with bugs all the time. And the other part is that the community members are actually overwhelmingly helpful to each other. And I don't have to support them 24/7. They just help each other, I didn't really see this coming, but I guess they do. And yeah, so big thanks to everyone who helps people in my Discord. It allows me to write the code, and it's great.
So the fact that you've got now a foundation, a good community, basically allows you to spend your time developing and not worry so much about the customer support side of it, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, the assets or customers are pretty pleasant in comparison to others. Because, I guess they are pretty smart people if they buy assets and know how to code. So they usually try to figure it out by themselves, or if they can, they just ask people, and people help them. It's really cool.
The relatively nice people, Unity Asset Store customers.
Yeah, no, I mean, overwhelmingly, the majority of them is just pretty cool people.
You do get the occasional special person. We've got a special person just now, Ryvix, who came in with a sub, 7 months. Thank you so much, Ryvix, for the continued support. Much appreciated, buddy. We've seen in the past, like even just last week when we were talking to Runemark Studios, that you get the random 1-star review. Thank you, babe. What's this? Thank you, darling. My wife just came in to give me a treat.
Oh, that's nice, man.
Yeah.
Penguin.
Oh, I'd love a penguin. It's been offered a penguin. A penguin is a chocolate.
You're gonna eat a penguin? Or?
Yeah. I don't think you get these in Germany, but how can I describe it? It's a layered chocolate bar with.
Oh, okay.
It's like a chocolate biscuit with chocolate cream, and then another chocolate biscuit. And I think it's like a 3 layers. Is it 3 layers of biscuit? I'll tell you in a moment when I've got it and I'm munching on it. I'll bite it in half and then you can see it. But it is possibly one of the greatest chocolates on God's green earth. It is
Really?
delicious. Oh, it's magnificent. The penguin. Really is.
Good for you, man.
Oh, if you ever come over to the UK, you've got to get yourself a penguin.
We do, man. We do.
Thank you, darling. Let's have a look. I'm going to open up my penguin now. It's like Kinder Delice.
Okay.
Is it really? Okay, I think it's, from what I can see, it's a 2-layer biscuit. Hang on. Oh.
Sounds tasty, at least.
Oh, fantastisch. Oh, wunderbar.
German. Danke, danke.
Oh, so you've got two big, thick, big chocolatey biscuits in the middle of that chocolatey goodness. And then with a... No, that's the thing. Kinder Pinguine. Oh.
Oh, yeah. I know
There's this is a rip-off. This is...
Oh, really?
This is not... Oh, no way. No. No, my friends. McVitie's... Hang on, let me find you this. McVitie's Penguin. And if I go to images and we see... So a nice good image of a penguin being eaten. Let me try and find one. Here we go. There's a good picture of a penguin. Oh my God, look how small that image is. So if I go here to chat, you'll see that it's chocolate. It's brown chocolate.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Look at this. Oh, it's compared to a Tim. What the hell is a Tim Tam? I've got no idea. But here we go. How did I degrade the channel into a discussion about chocolate penguins? But that's nothing like your weird Kinder white chocolate thing, Son Goku.
Looks tasty.
There you go. Look at that. Oh, that's delicious.
Your wife must really like you a lot.
I hope so. I really do hope that she likes me. That does looks amazing. It does look amazing.
Maybe I should get a mustache too. No, maybe that helps.
Just spat my drink up. Oh dear. So how hard is it for me to get started playing about with uSurvival?
I'm sorry, what?
How hard would it be for me to get started making a project in uSurvival? Keep in mind that my networking knowledge is close to zero.
Well, I mean, it depends, you know, if you want to add more features, then it's definitely going to be hard because you need to understand Unity and C# and networking. But I guess if you just want to, I don't know, use some kind of special theme like, I don't know, alien survival or whatever, and just add art assets, then it's definitely doable. But yeah, basically speaking, if you want to add features or modify features, then you need to learn how to code.
But what if I want to go back in now? I'm going to have a look at the man running around. But if I wanted to change the controller,
yeah, that's the hardest part.
So here's my man. So if we dissect the controller aspect into two parts, the first part being the camera. So if I wanted to keep the controller but change the camera,
yeah, you could open the player look script and go from there. But yeah, the controller is definitely really, really difficult to get right because, I mean, even in a single player game, the controller is really hard to get right, and let alone multiplayer where you have to synchronize it over the network. So yeah, if you want to save yourself some pain, probably best not to modify the controller. But
what about the animations?
oh yeah, that's easy. You don't need code for that. You can just, it's basic Unity setting where you open the controller and you just, not the movement controller, but the animation controller, and you can just modify it with Unity system. That's very easy to do. So basically everything that you see is the animations and the models and the monsters. You can just swap them out easily without writing any code.
And if I want to stop people spawning their loot on the floor when they die?
Yeah, you can just open the, what's it called? I think it's called player on death or player, I think it's called, oh yeah, it's actually in the player inventory script. If you open it, you have an on death function where you can say drop it to the ground or not.
I got killed as I was talking to you. There was two zombies, one inside the other.
I got killed too. I think we stood next to each other.
This guy's just ignoring me. Oi, I'm talking to you. There we go. Oh, bugger. There we go.
Oh. I hope that's not too much blood for your audience, because you warned me. I forgot to mention this part, I guess.
Yeah, it gets a bit gory here, doesn't it? So,
yeah, it's a little bit.
We were rudely interrupted by someone who just killed us. So if I wanted now, because I have to say that's my biggest annoyance that I would have is the loot system. So I would like that when I kill someone, the person's body is a container, and inside that container is the loot.
Yeah, sure, you can do this. In fact, this is what I do in uMMORPG. And the funny part is, I mean, I can't really do it right, because if I do this with the container in uMMORPG, people tell me that it's better if it drops to the ground. And in uSurvival, if I let it drop to the ground, people tell me it's better in a container. So, but yeah, you can just, I mean, I guess the easiest way would be to just take a look at the uMMORPG code and try to port it over.
Oh, really?
I mean, basically, it's just, you just keep it in your inventory and show us the content when you press F or whatever, and just take it out there. So it's doable.
And how do you handle the? I was about to say, how do you handle building things? And this person in front of me just started putting platforms down.
Yeah, in your inventory you should have 5 pallets that you can drag to your skill bar at the bottom. And then if you press the button, I guess 1 or 2, then you can see this preview. It's either red or blue. And if you click, then you can... So basically when it's red, you can't build it, but when it's blue, you can build.
Oh, this bloke won't leave me alone.
Oh yeah, you have to press the R key to rotate it, and then you can also build it on the floor.
Oh, this... Oh, they're all just having a go at me.
Trying to kill the zombie.
Hang on.
I don't know, I think we lost the X somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dead now. I think you were trying to ask me some question about one-star reviews before you got your penguin.
Oh, yes. So, My penguin distracted me about the 1-star reviews.
Yeah.
The problem with the asset store is that people tend to use the review system on the asset store as a way of leaving customer feedback, like support, rather than actual leaving reviews.
Yeah, it can be frustrating sometimes, but I guess you just have to work harder and make your asset even better. So if you're aiming for 5 stars and you know that some people will always leave 1-star reviews, maybe you didn't reply early enough or whatever. You just have to, I mean, you know, what you're gonna do, you can just try to make it the quality so good that more people leave 5-star reviews and that it balances out. But yeah, I mean, you have this on every review system, right? Even if you buy something that's really cool on Amazon, you will also have some negative reviews.
Now,
I find that it sometimes helps to not look at reviews, at least not every day or so.
yeah, it kind of makes you a bit depressed if you sit there looking at reviews, though.
Yeah, sometimes.
Let me is asking, Vis2k, any plans to add uSurvival character controller to uMMORPG? Yes, you missed that. It was right at the start of the stream. Good news, the character controller is getting ported over to uMMORPG.
Yeah, basically, you know, to say it again, I basically wanted to get it feel right and synchronized correctly, and now the last part is to make it 100% cheat safe, and then I can port it over. So, I mean, okay, maybe, I don't know if I'm gonna add it to the current UMO or to like version 2.0. We'll see.
Oh, so there's going to be a version 2.0?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, basically with the new stuff that I figured out in uSurvival, you know, more component-based code and character controller movement and so on.
Does that mean that people who have got existing versions built off, existing games built off the current version, won't have a massive problem when you do updates? Because if you do major code changes and someone's been using the previous version, do you tend to get people complain if you do big changes?
Oh, yeah, all the time. But currently, I guess I got to the point where it's in long-term support mode. So for uMMORPG, I'm only targeting bug fixes and stability at the moment because, for one, I finished all the features that I wanted to finish. And I guess people also deserve it because I've been putting them through quite a lot of updates, and yeah, that must have been difficult.
Now you've
So yeah, I'm basically working on the uSurvival, trying to get it perfect, and then I will consider version 2.0 for uMMORPG, maybe. I mean, it mostly depends on if I need it for my own game or not, you know.
And there you go. The feature sets now are based on if these are features that you want in your game.
Yeah, exactly.
So previously you've been opening the floor for your community to put feature requests in. Is that how it's been driven?
Not really, no. I don't think I ever really took. I mean, sometimes if people complain about something that makes complete sense, then I will change it. But mostly I don't. I mean, to be honest, I don't really care too much if people need the features that are in there or if they like them, because I just want to make my own game. And I guess that helps also for your previous question about the reviews. You know, if you make your asset with the hopes or with the goal to use it in your own games, and it doesn't really matter. Even if you use if you get a 1-star review, you're still gonna use it for your game. You know, who cares?
Oh, I'm getting attacked through the wall. Look, mate.
Oops.
Oh.
Yeah, actually, because the zombie can see your head. I mean, the zombie's animation doesn't really point to your head, but since it can see your head, it can attack you.
Oh, they get those arms are so strong, they're able to break through walls.
Yeah, man.
Oh my word. You recently changed the pricing model of all your assets to be like 20 quid or something, or 10 or 5 or something crazy. How do you feel that affected the reviews? Do you because if you reduce the entry level down for your assets tremendously to be effectively as though the assets are free, and then
I mean, it kind of sounds like. Oh, sorry.
So I mean, the first question is, what was the rationale behind that? And second question is going to be, did you find that he actually had a negative impact rather than a positive one? Because so many people are able to get it who actually have got no idea how to code and would think that it's a magic bullet to make the game, the magic push the red button and make my game for me asset.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason, I guess, was because people sometimes complain that the $80 were too much and they expected more and whatever, and then they leave negative reviews. And I thought, man, I just want to make my own game. I don't want to deal with unhappy customers. And also, if they are giving me the money, they should definitely be happy with the product. So I thought, let's try $20. I mean, maybe it works and everyone is happy, and that would be great and more relaxing for everyone. And so I tried it, and it worked for a while. It was good. But yeah, it also was more support. And like you said, some people who expect to just press the make MMO.exe button and have it done. And how did it affect my viewers? I don't think it changed too much. So it's also back to $80 now, mostly because it seems to generate the most money at the end of the month in comparison to $10 or $20. So I just kept it. I mean, how do you price it? I worked on this for, I guess, over 6,000 hours now, and I could also put it like for 10 grand or whatever, but nobody would buy it. So I just try to use a price that people can afford and are happy with.
I received some good advice once by someone. I won't mention any names. It was Procedure World's Adam Goodrich, and the advice was, because I was trying to make my first ever asset that has failed miserably because I just got stuck in scope creep forever, adding new feature after new feature after new feature, and ended up breaking it completely. And I was thinking, I'm going to sell it for a tenner. And then I said, I'm going to sell it for a fiver. He goes to me, well, how much time have you spent on it? And I was like, well, far more time than I should have, and far more time than I originally planned. He goes, so are you going to be making the money back for the time that you spent? I said, no way on earth. I'd have to sell like 10,000 copies to make my money back. He goes, so do you feel like the price that you would be charging is going to give you a load of users? And I was like, well, yeah. So he said, okay, you got your price down low. You've got the entry level basically so low that anyone's going to come in and buy your asset, and 90% or 95% of those people are never actually going to make a game with your asset, because they found this cheap asset, they've purchased it, they don't really know how to use it or how to code, and you're going to be getting reviews based off that entry level of people. And I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. And he said, okay, and the other part is you've spent how long working on an asset, and now you sell it for $5, and then somebody else comes along in the asset store and sees a similar asset that's $50. So what they say is, oh, I'm not going to buy the $50 one, I'm going to buy the $5. And now this type of asset should be retailed at $5 because that's what these other people are selling the asset for. So you basically have devalued all the other assets, the equivalent assets on the asset store, because it's being marked down on the price. So then the next person comes along and marks his asset down in the price to be able to compete. So they're not actually selling them for what you could say is a fair price of what it's worth, but it's a price to compete against somebody who started selling much lower than the regular asking price. And it's at that point you kind of realize there's like an ecosystem in the asset store. And it reminded me of MMOs, where people used to farm in MMOs and destroy the marketplace. It's exactly the same concept with the asset store. You've got a load of people who are selling $20, $40 assets and $80 assets. Certain, thank you for the sub. And then you've got a load of people who just arrived selling assets for $5 or a tenner, spamming the store and then leaving. And I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, obviously Adam seems to know what he's doing with the asset store. Yeah, listen to him. Good idea.
It was funny because as soon as I chatted with him, I received pretty much exactly the same advice of every other major asset store dev that I'd spoken to. It was a case of, well, when you're selling an asset, would you do the same thing if it was a business? And that's when you stop and think to yourself, am I selling an asset as a business, or am I just, have I made something for fun that I want to share? And if you're just doing it for fun and you want to sharing it and you don't really worry about the price of it, then okay. But if you're actually wanting to sell it to make some cash, then you need to see it as a business, that your time that you've spent working on it. And that's when you sit down and say, okay, how much is this project worth for me? How much are my hours? If I was going to charge an hourly rate or a day rate or a week rate or a month rate, how much money would I expect to be paid for this? And how many assets would I expect to sell a month to be able to break even or earn my wages? And I guess with you can easily say, okay, on average, I sell X number of assets a month for this asset, and I do X number of hours a month on customer support and bug fixing support for this asset. So it's quite, once you've been established, I guess it's easy for you to be able to use that analytic data to be able to work out how much you could sell your next asset for. So that's when you've done your first asset and it's been a success, it's easy for you to price your second one, if you look at it that way.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know. But I usually pick about $80 and see what happens. And sell it, then good.
That was going to be my question.
If it doesn't, then I use another price. So.
Was it a case of literally just sticking a price on? Does it sell?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. So, for example, a couple of months ago, we had the Humble Bundle store. So it's a Humble Bundle sale. And I think they sold on average my asset for, I don't know, like $5 or $10, and which sounded crazy, but I said, yeah, sure, let's try. And it made a lot of money too. So I don't know, sometimes it's crazy, because if it's really cheap, people think, well, just grab it, maybe I use it later, and it can work too. But yeah, I don't know, I'm not exactly a pricing expert here. I'm just, I don't know, trying prices and see what happens.
Did you find that the asset, the Humble Bundle asset sale helped you, or was a negative thing?
Oh, definitely. Because, first of all, people seem to be really happy with it because they got a lot of assets for a small price, and some of it went to charity, and definitely made some decent money here. It's kind of sad if you look at how many copies I sold and what the money I got from it, but you can't look at it this way because, it doesn't really matter to me if I sell 10,000 copies or 1,000 because just download, I don't have to send out an email or whatever. They just download it and that's it. So it's not really extra work until they contact me.
But that's the question I was going to ask you, is that did you see a drastic increase in the number, the amount of support that you were having to do as a result of the Humble Bundle?
Yeah, surprisingly, actually not, no.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Either people are just helping each other so much, or they just didn't try it yet, or I was actually prepared to stay online 24/7 for a couple of days during the sale because, it's a really big chance. But people just didn't ask me anything, so I just went to sleep. And
oh my God!
They still bought it. So
seriously, this is because this is a drastic difference to the same conversation that we had with Adam when he was on the stream the other day, and we had Protofactor also that were part of the Humble Bundle, and there's completely different reactions from people based on, I think, because the problem with Gaia is that there is a bit of I'm going to say, not a steep learning curve because Gaia is so, interface was so simple, but it literally was people thinking it's a push the magic button and it does everything for them. And in Gaia is one of the assets that comes pretty damn close to pushing a button and everything gets made for you. So I can't understand how a lot of people were getting Gaia in the Humble Bundle and giving negative reviews or having to do a lot of customer support. I would have thought out of all of the assets in that Humble Bundle that would have been inundated with questions and support would have been the uMMORPG, because by definition everyone wants to make an RPG as their first ever game, Nobody knows what on earth they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Wow.
maybe it takes quite some portion of insanity to wake up in the morning and decide that you're gonna start your MMO today. So I don't know. But yeah, I don't really understand that. It's just crazy. They sold like millions of copies from all those assets, but I don't know. People just buy them and don't use them. I don't know.
Did you see an increase in the number of people joining your Discord? I mean, was there a big benefit to the community that you could contact as a result of that?
Yeah, I mean not so many as you would expect, but a couple, yeah, sure. But definitely not as many people as purchased it. So that would have been really crazy if 1 million people joined my Discord. It would have been really difficult to support.
Well, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this live interview. There's much more where this came from. Don't forget, if you like these videos, you want to see more, click on that big red juicy subscribe button down below. Tell all of your friends and neighbours. And I'll see you over on allthews.twitch.tv/themessycoder Fridays and Saturdays. I've also got a Discord. There's a link down in the description right down below. And if you do like it, click it. Until next time. If you want to see more of my crazy videos, click on the left side of your screen now. And down below, there's that big juicy subscribe button. And right next to it is the magic bell that if you click it, it will tell you if I've got a new video coming out. Till next time.